gotta watch second part. This is the Chaos Demons and different factions, Tyranids and Orcs and Necrons. Necrons and Taus, oh god, they're the two lost ones. They're the ones I'm the most excited to learn about because those are the ones I like the best aesthetically. Yeah, let's dive in.
Part 2 in a 2-part series on the Warhammer races. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, we do the Imperium of Man. You can check that out in the description, and I would highly recommend you watch that to get context for this episode. If you already have, go ahead and keep on watching. So after an entire episode of nothing but humans, we can now talk about chaos, which involves humans again, but a little bit less. We also got demons and shit.
It said it's cool and worth learning about. Yeah.
My ass.
What?
Like hard, Nick.
So, as I've mentioned many times before, we've discussed the warp, the immaterium, the hellish landscape, the purgatory dimension realm between the material realm of our existence. Now, in the warp, it's terrifying, horrible. There are demons everywhere. Things are crazy. All your minds and thoughts and emotions get projected there. It is both formless and
he keeps on flipping around.
It is vast and tiny. It obeys the laws of time and physics while simultaneously does absolutely nothing of the sort. It is a hodgepodge and a culmination of just unknowable, eldritch, horrifying shit. And there are 4 gods that
eldritch stuff and
permeate in chaos and the warp. These are
so 4 gods and then lots of stuff in chaos. Chaos big, chaos much. Is that like how cowardly Amazon was with the 40k show? Cavill wanted to stick to the lore, but Amazon pushed for Space Marine girls. Space Marine girls? I'm assuming not Sisters of Battle. Oh, that's kind of sad. Chaos is wild. Yeah. Okay. 4 gods. Well, I saw a lady when he was showing 4 gods in the last videos, but I'm not seeing a lady now. Yeah. Chaos is probably the 2nd biggest faction in the tabletop. I mean, they do have the Space Marines that defected, right? Oh, that was Slanesh. Oh, Slanesh. I see. Okay, I'll see. 4 gods.
The 4 major chaos gods. And if we wish to learn about chaos, we need to learn about
these are the gods. Okay, the other ones were the champions.
First up, we have Khorne, and he is the easiest. Khorne is your classic Satan. He is all about
fire
anger,
and brimstone,
murder, fighting, blood, guts, death. You ever heard the term blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne?
Oh, okay.
That's Khorne. The whole idea
is he is the one that the thing comes from? Oh, he is the one with the you guys keep on quoting all the time.
Satan. He is all about anger, murder, fighting, blood, guts, death. You ever heard the term blood for the
blood god, skulls for the skull throne? This one I've heard a lot. So he is where it comes from. I thought that was the emperor. Kamos, I thought that was for the emperor because you guys keep on quoting for the emperor, and then in the same breath you go blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. Oh my god! I've been betrayed, Kamos, by your quotes. I swore I thought that was the emperor throne. Oh my god. Heresy. I guess we're deep in heresy now.
Come on.
Because the emperor always gets depicted with like the skull face. I figured that was like the skull throne type thing. Oh god, I've been all over the place. I've misheard. I feel like you might have been doing a little bit of heretics, Camels.
Blood god, skulls for the skull throne. That's Khorne. The whole idea is that he is all about the fury and strength of battle.
Okay, war and battle.
He doesn't care where blood comes from, so long as blood is flowing. He wants to fight and murder and carnage and slaughter and death. That is Khorne. Very simple to understand. Next up, you have Tzeentch, and Tzeentch is the god of change. However, the god of change, it's permeates in so many different other ways. He's the most eldritch of all the demon gods.
I do like eldritch
He has
lore.
this weird way to always be plucking at the strings of the universe. He's always conniving and scheming and doing his best
more
to
than
cause as much
Corv.
little bullshit as he can. Tzeentch is unknowable. Everything that makes sense, he will and won't do. Every future
kind of chaos
setting
god.
and every type of of destiny or
This is the god that
fate
1,000 suns
is
worship.
all foretold and also changeable. It is set in stone while also completely random. He knows what everything is going to happen, and also
he's like
none of
Loki.
it's
Yes, like
going
Loki,
to
the
happen.
trickster god.
You would ask Zeech a question.
Super evil.
That question leads to 3 more questions, and those questions lead to the heat death of the universe, which asks 4 answers to those.
Wait, oh my god, would he be like the god of cliffhangers then? If like questions lead to questions and stuff, like nothing concludes, it's just schemes upon schemes. Oh god, I don't know if I like him anymore. You kind of no. I like the Eldritch aspect. I don't like eternal cliffhangers. It's worse. Oh god. He plays the long game like a 1 millennia long game. Ah. He's the Chaos God of Birds, though. Not cliffhangers, though. Oh, so he sometimes sabotages his own plans. I mean, if his thing is like changed and being peculiar, then I guess he's gotta go all in.
And then he thinks to himself, "What are questions even really?
He directed the Lost TV show.
Or are you simply giving paths to answers?" And,
I mean, that would check out.
Other horseshit. Zeech is just I'm gonna fuck with stuff. He is yes and he is no. He is the understanding and he is complexity.
I like how Bricky is like slowly sliding across the screen and to the side.
Very bizarre. And he likes birds a lot.
Birds.
I don't know why.
I do like that. Why don't you know, Bricky? You don't need a reason to like birds. Birds are amazing. They're amazing and everyone should love birds. And he suddenly got like way more cool for liking birds. Yeah. Because I'm a duck and birds are amazing.
Next up, we got Papa Nurgle.
Nurgle.
Papa Nurgle, he loves you for who you are. Probably not. He will murder you just the same. But Papa Nurgle
loves
is
you and
about
will murder
rot,
you?
pestilence, death, and decay. He is the end of everything. Him and Zeech do not like each other very much because where Zeech represents change and adjustment, Nurgle represents stagnation and death. He is
stagnation
all about
and death
and pestilence and large
disease,
bloat and pus.
Nurgle doesn't discriminate. I guess everyone can die
just
then
being
or become
sedentary, sloth. He is the idea that
loves everyone
will
equally.
Rot and decay and die. Nothing is certain besides
He's literally the most benevolent of the Chaos Gods,
us
technically.
Will end up the same way, and broken down through just sheer, never-ending decomposition.
I don't think I like him very much.
Always loves you is generally because of that, because we all end up the same.
Yeah, everyone dies. I guess that's why he loves everyone.
We all die and wither. That's Nurgle, and he's got a general theme of course, pestilence and different kinds of diseases and sickness and things of that nature. That's generally Nurgle. He's pretty easy to understand as well, and he's he chonk. Finally, we have the youngest of the
He does remind me, I will say, he does remind me... He reminds me of Asmodan from Heroes of the Storm. Which I love Asmodan. But I don't know if I would love Nurgle because the disease and pestilence part is like, ugh. Also, Kohaku! Welcome back to the Kamo Squad. Prefer your god of change over Nurgle the bird. Nurgle, the bird god, may just be a raven given power, but Nurgle love is blind and cold. Nurgle does seem pretty cold. Yeah. Sinch loves birds so much, he took his favorite one and tossed it into a whirlpool, and it came back with 2 heads. One head that can only see the past, and one head that can only see the future. Oh, isn't that kind of like the Odin's bird in Nordic lore? It's okay, we can stop here. I haven't gotten to the Necrons and the Tau.
Finally, we have the youngest of the Chaos Gods, and that is Slaanesh, also known as the Prince of Pleasure, or the God of Unspeakable Excess. Slaanesh is generally referred to with sex, but it's not only sex, it's just that's a good avenue if you want to make stuff. Slaanesh is just the idea of the senses of the body being cranked to not just 11, but more like 17. So we'll discuss Slaanesh a little bit more when we talk about the Eldar, because they done fucked up, but it, or whatever, is mainly about just the excess of emotions.
Okay, excess of emotions.
Sex is generally a large part of it. However, it's
also lust.
mostly pain. and torture.
Oh, pain.
Lots
Okay,
of pain,
no.
torture, but sometimes sexually related or drug related. Lots of drugs.
No.
Slanesh gets off on everything. Extremes in happiness, extremes in sadness, extremes in pain and sadism.
I think by far my favorite scene.
And of course that goes along with the sex part of it as well. It's generally referred
and this
to
person,
sex because
and Nurgle is like on the bottom, and then like Core is like in the middle somewhere.
Genitalia. A lot of their models have like exposed nipples and stuff. And that is generally the theme you go for from the physical side, but it really embodies everything. Mainly pain and also the excessive amounts of emotion. So when it comes down to it, you'll find a lot of them have things like spikes or whips
spikes.
or any
that makes
kind
sense.
of BDSM style gear because it is unspeakable excess. The prince of
the
pleasure.
excess.
Everything in excess to the point where it is just sheer frightening. That is Slanesh in
Very
a nutshell.
scary.
A little bit bizarre and a little hard to describe sometimes, but as we talk more about the Dark Eldar layer in this video, you'll understand it far, far better and far more than you'd want to. Now you might be thinking, why would anyone ever want to join
Yeah,
Chaos?
good question.
Horrifying,
I mean, it seems like
spurred,
spurred, so
things,
it's
right?
kind of cool.
Well, the thing is that, of course, one, your mind is put into the warp and the materium, so you can be easily swayed by chaos demons when you get into your
so they
head,
seduce
especially
you.
if you're a psyker. Sometimes regiments of the less mentally strong people, whether they be civilians or, say, low-level guardsmen or conscripts, can be easily swayed by this and become chaos cultists and stuff, and they serve their dark gods.
The gods also
whatever
represent
god
good
they
things?
personally prefer. However, and this might seem strange, chaos in their own right isn't necessarily evil.
Oh, okay.
See, the warp is every manifestation of emotion and being, every soul, everything of existence. This includes all the good things.
Okay, so good things as well.
All the different chaos gods have another side to their coin. Khorne might be...
It's kind of like two-faced gods kind of deal. Like, you have the good side and the bad side, but I guess in this case, because Warhammer 40k, the bad side is the primary focus a lot of the time. Like because of the inherent setting of the universe, there are aspects of emotion. Yeah. You only get the bad side, yeah. The core.
Death, murder, slaughter. But he's also got this weird sense of survival of the fittest, trial by combat, and honor. Khorne will never
honor
lie
is
to
not
you.
necessarily bad.
Khorne will never stab you in the
Oh,
back.
okay, never
Khorne
lie.
isn't about conniving and scheming.
That's
Khorne
pretty
is
cool.
about straight up mano, you versus me. Get in the ring. We're gonna murder each other hard right now.
Yeah, it's
May
like,
not be a good thing at the end
you'll
of the
die,
day,
but you'll know it was
is
him and
that
he won't
other side of
backstab
the
you.
coin. Him and Zeech generally don't get along because Zeech
yes,
is that
he's the opposite.
conniving schemer, but he's also about the idea of hope. Where there is change, there's change for your predicament. There is change for your problem. The hope of the galaxy, the ability to bend the world to your will, the idea that your fate is not set in stone.
To be fair, your
but
life as a
reality
regular
that you
citizen
control
isn't
your
great, and
destiny
chaos could lead to a real
control
life of
whatever you want.
improvement.
The changer
On the short term,
of
at
ways.
least.
That is Zeech. And of course, Zeech and Nurgle hate each other because while Nurgle does represent stagnation, death, and decay, he also represents finality and ending. The fact that you can be mentally at peace, knowing that you will end.
I don't know.
How you will end.
That's still
fear of the unknown, fear of
kind of
change
bad.
is not present with Nurgle. With Nurgle, everything will rot and die, and that provides that finality,
I don't know about
that ability
that.
that this is over. We are all the same.
I don't know about that, Nurgle. Nurgle is acceptance.
We know the meaning of life. The meaning of life is to live and die and rot. And with that, it brings peace of mind. Slanesh is a lot more simple.
Nurgle
While
aspect
they
is also
are the
reborn.
excess of
That's pretty
emotion,
cool.
they are also the representation of emotion.
Okay,
Slanesh
emotions. I mean,
embodies
emotions are
happiness.
nice.
Slanesh embodies excitement and joy and pleasure, not only in the sense of
That's
the
good
physical,
emotions.
you know, bam style of pleasure,
Sir,
but
you
also
didn't need to do
everything
that.
else, like food and drink.
Yeah, like good
and,
food.
Air on your cheek.
The joy
and
of opening a
sunlight, the
TCG card
feeling,
pack.
emotion and feeling.
Or building a
All
gun
of
plot.
that is also represented with Slanesh. So you have to ask, why are they always represented as super evil skulls and spikes on everything? And
I can answer this. Warhammer 40k. The Dark Universe. It was completely necessary. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. That was kind of like implied by all the other stuff. And there's a story of an orc war boss taking his log into a warp and landing on one of Crone's planets to have the biggest and best fight of their life. Chrono's so impressed, he resurrects them to fight forever. And the orcs think they found Orc Heaven. Wow, Orc Heaven. That's hilarious. Also, Evias, thank you for the zipper coins. Arigato. Curran actually does not care much about honor. He doesn't care about the source of blood. He cares about the source of skulls. He wants warriors. Nurgle is also spear and sling's obsession. I mean, that kind of is implied. I feel like he cares about honor in the sense of fighting is what I'm getting. Yeah.
Want to murder everybody. I don't really got an answer for you on that one. My assumption is that because mentally humans may think worse thoughts, even if we don't act on them, and therefore they're projected in the warp more. That one's a little bit weird. I don't know. This is me spitballing right now, but I don't know. You need a
This is like university, learning about cool things, but at the same time getting trauma from cursed knowledge.
So you got
Truly.
demons. Honestly, who cares?
Oh wait, wasn't this the guy that was before? He was like,
I don't know. You need a super bad guy. You already got the.
He was like, especially this guy about something. Was that Faith or whatever? What was he was talking about when the image of this guy flashed on screen?
Imperium of Man needs somebody to be a little bit worse than them. So you got demons. Honestly, who cares? I just want to buy like a bird magician. Look at him.
He does look really cool. I'm assuming this is like Tzeentch. Oh, is this the Tzeentch two-headed bird you guys are talking about? Or it's another two-headed bird? He looks really cool though.
So cool. So combining all this together, on the tabletop, Chaos Demons are generally very melee-based. They run in, go really hard. You have lots of summoning and conjuring, tons of spells. Generally a little bit frail, but they have special saves to make them a little bit stronger. You've got giant demons and smaller demons. You got hordes of little boys and tons of big guys. Demons are as they seem.
I feel like... Okay, come on. So I'm going to make some guesses here. I feel like after learning this...
They're very melee-based. They run in, go really hard. You have lots of summoning and conjuring, tons of spells.
Show me the singular
Generally
pictures.
A little bit frail, but they have special saves to make them a little bit stronger. You've got...
I'm going to guess this is Nurgle. I mean, this has to be Nurgle stuff. Nurgle...
Giant demons and small...
Probably also Nurgle. I see, like, disease stuff.
Demons. You got
more Nurgle would be my guess.
Hordes of little boys and tons...
This, I would guess, would be Crone. Fire, brimstone, kind of war-looking.
Tons of big guys. Demons are...
And these guys... Nurgle as well? Color, yeah, it seems like it's like they're like color thematic coded.
Nurgle is slow, Khorne is...
Yeah, this is Khorne.
Super scary in melee. You've got Tzeentch, who are
it
far
seems
more
like more blue stuff.
Spellcasting, and then Slaanesh, who is all melee, really
more like purpley,
fast, but squishy,
pinky
but
stuff.
In lots of hordes of tons of melee and pain.
Not Crone, Khorne. Oh, Khorne.
So overall, the demons are a huge part of 40k and a massive threat to almost every single faction, with the exception of a couple. However, the big part about demons is also transferred into the other 9 Primarchs we didn't talk about, which are the Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, the evil Primarchs, or like the eviler Primarchs. Or the more chaotic Primarchs?
And all of his boys, all of them in the Primarchs, they have all also become Chaos boys, and they all have their own special Chaos Legions, specializing in so many different things, just like the Adeptus Astartes, the Angels of Death, the regular Space Marines. Chaos Space Marines aren't a whole lot different than the regular Space Marines. They have the same armor, generally the same training and toughness. They just specialize in different kinds of things. And also a lot of the Primarchs have ascended into greater is it greater demons?
Pre-heresy, post-heresy.
At this point. Gigantic, horrifying man-demon hybrids.
Most of them are under a single god sway, but there's some under chaos and divided.
But them and their associated legions that they are a part of are all kind of going out there and causing a large ruckus for everyone else. Considering the raw strength and firepower of a legion of Space Marines, imagine that entire legion just converting to chaos and immediately fighting you. It's generally pretty horrifying. There's a lot of them, so I gotta write them down.
I want to hear the breakdown.
Emperor's Children with Primarch Fulgrim, loyal to Slaanesh. These people, they are some messed up people.
Oh, I can imagine.
Sensory overload, tons of drugs, tons of torture.
Oh, okay, yeah, no.
And I think Fulgrim is a demon Primarch right now, and oh god, I am terrified to see what that man looks like. at least on the tabletop, because the Emperor's children are not good people. You've got the Iron Warriors, which are kind of like opposite of the Imperial Fists, with Primarch Perturabo.
They fight with Tyrus and Lilith Speakers and Lost Guys.
They just kind of serve chaos in a general aspect instead of
so these are Chaos Undivided, you guys are saying.
The Iron Warriors are big on the siege and fortification, and they're basically entirely against the Imperial Fists and a major rival. Perturabo, I believe, is
okay. So they seem like more normal, evil. Yeah.
Also still alive, and I'm also very interested to see what he looks like, because Demon Primarchs are badass. You've got the Night Lords with Primarch Conrad Kurz.
Night Lord?
Conrad Kurz is dead.
Quote unquote normal.
He's a sick fuck. But the Night Lords are generally about terrorizing people and terrorism. They're generally
so
about
messed
fear,
up?
and rightly so. You've got the World Eaters with Primarch Angron still alive. Also excited to see. Angron. If you think you've known an angry person, Angron is the angriest son of a bitch you will ever know.
Anger issues guy.
Angron removed parts of his brain that didn't make him angry, so
Whoa,
he
on
could
purpose?
be angrier. Angron.
Angron. Oh, it says angry in his name.
With Primarch Mortarion. They actually have their own special codex and their own major army on the tabletop. Mortarion himself is actually one of the models, and look at him.
Ooh, that's a cool looking model.
It's so cool looking.
Oh, not on purpose?
Course,
oh, it was not on purpose.
Oh,
okay.
Obviously. So very slow, but very tanky.
Tragic is that,
You've got the Word Bearers with Primarch Lorgar. Lorgar is, I believe, still alive. I don't know what's up with him at the current moment, but the Word Bearers are generally the people who caused all the major problems in the beginning. At least I blame them for it. They're little assholes. You got the Black Legion with Primarch Horus. Get fucked, nerd. You've got the Alpha Legion with Primarch...
Wait, did I not get an explanation? Wait, Kamos! He just skipped over an entire faction! I would like to know what the... Bricky, please! Please! I would like to know! Oh my god, Kamos, what are their thing? Horus is dead? Oh, it's because Horus is the traitor. Oh. Horus is dead. Okay, but what about his faction? Is the faction just gone? We actually don't know if it's dead. His body was taken to the warp, wasn't it? I don't know. He dead? Empire annihilated Horus? Oh. Okay. They're kind of the Ultramarines of Chaos. Oh, okay, so they're rebranded. Horus' soul was liberated. Okay, so he's extra dead. Okay, very dead. Dead. Abaddon leads Horus Legion now. Oh, okay.
Farius Omegon, Chaos.
This looks like Marine guys, like,
I think.
with scales,
and then finally, you've
like
got the Thousand Sons with Primarch Magnus the Nerd. The Thousand Sons also have their own book, just like the Death Guard. Magnus is also a tabletop model. He looks super cool.
I was about to say, I think these are my favorite Chaos Marine design. I love this design. This design is really good. I like it better than a lot of the regular, like, non-Chaos Marine designs. I liked it. I play Space Marine 2. I like it more than the regular, like, quote-unquote Space Marine 2 designs. Like, this is a very cool aesthetic. And also their Siege, they have the bird guys. Yeah, they look cool, awful to paint. Oh yeah, these details probably be hell to paint. Yeah. Their dust inside the armor, honestly, that's better than, I guess, their body rotting away thanks to Nurgle.
Book, just with the Death Guard. Magnus is also
I love this design as well with the bird wings.
He looks super cool, as you can tell. And they're all super heavily Psyker and kind of Egyptian themed.
Truly hell to paint, yeah.
But overall, with all of these Chaos Space Marine factions, you can play as a lot of
it's
worse
ones, to be
but
dust.
the main ones that you can really work at are standard Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, as well as the Death Guard and Thousand Sons, as they are the most fleshed out, especially on the tabletop at least.
Thousand Sons is a technical army.
This is a really good way to describe the Chaos Space Marines. What the thick-headed fools with their broken corpse of an emperor fail to understand is that not only can they never defeat us, but they cannot hide or flee or shield themselves from the triumph of chaos. They are finite and we are unbound, undivided. They must not err, or they shall fall to heresy. All who fall join our cause. Every imperial fool who dares to open his eyes is a willing recruit. They strive merely to hold back our fury and might, and it consumes
Seems like they have a lot of anger.
Thus, you can see chaos is inevitable. We lurk not only beyond their grasp and at their gates, we lurk within the darkness of their souls, on the tip of their tongues, in their tortured dreams. We are them, but freed from the shackles of ignorance. We are them, grown strong, evolved. We are them, but so much more. As hardcore as that quote is, the saddest part is they're mostly right. Chaos is basically unkillable. You could probably get rid of Space Marines, a decent amount, the Chaos Space Marines that is, but every soul that dies goes to the warp. Every Chaos soul will end up back in the warp.
It goes in the warp.
Depending on how hard you killed them, they will come back at some point. Every demon you banish will return at some point. Chaos is unstoppable.
It's just recycling the souls.
The warp is unending.
You know,
and while maybe there is at some point
being economical
some
that way
to stop them somehow, the resources to do
so
the
environmentally friendly
to do so are so far beyond the reaches of man and the other races at the current moment that really it's just an unstoppable force that just keeps on coming, and it's just
a Primarch or the Emperor can destroy
Chaos
souls.
is by far the biggest threat. They are without number. Their legions are everywhere, and yeah.
You don't want to be recycled? I mean, yeah, in this universe, it's probably not a good thing.
Now. Let's talk about some Xenos.
Necrons has a way to kill chaos. It's bad news for most people. Ooh.
So let's talk about the Eldar,
okay,
or also known as the Eldari, which are a super hyper specialized and
this is the interesting part for me. Usually, if dark elves are involved in like a franchise, I tend to like them. This one goes back to Heroes of Might and Magic, where in 3 and 5, and especially 5, the dark elves, if I had to choose only one faction as my favorite, I really like the dark elves. I have a sense it's not going to be the case here. I don't think it's going to be the case here from what I know so far. Which is kind of funny because as I say, usually I do like dark elves, but I'm gathering they're like Slaanesh followers, and I don't think I'm going to like them. They like the Dunmer. Oh yeah, when I play Skyrim, when I played that back in the day, I always play Dunmer in Skyrim. Or no, Dunmer or Altmer. Actually, I play Altmer more than Dunmer because I like their magic perk. But I usually play one of the elves in Skyrim, but usually always Altmer. I really like the Dunmers as well. But I don't think that's going to be the case here.
Very technologically advanced.
Technically, they're not followers of Slaanesh.
Elf people. They were as well responsible for the creation of Slaanesh.
Oh, they were responsible.
Demon god. How'd they do that?
Oh.
Debauchery on a world-ending scale. See, back in the day, it was just Khorne, Tzeentch, and Nurgle. And the Eldar are very,
so there was only
very
3.
ancient, millions of years. These Eldar, however, have a bit of a sensory problem. You know, every kind of pain or feeling that you have is a little bit amplified compared to the normal. However, with Eldar, as their race advanced so excessively, and they became so self-reliant, and everything became so easy, there was no requirement for food production anymore. There was no shortages. Everything was basically done. Everyone was so comfortable.
So they were kind of set.
And that comfort breeded this weird sedation. And that sedation breeded the requirement for more and more debauchery.
Oh no. I don't like where this is going.
When everything you have can be so easily acquired, you will end up down this road of pure debauchery.
They got real bored.
All of the senses the Eldar had that were so powerful, things like feeling, happiness, sadness, and just evil and good, all needed to be satisfied and satiated. And the desire to satiate these senses grew more and more with worse and worse debauchery. It started off with things like sex and drugs becoming so much more rampant because these are the first things you generally turn to when requirements for living
that
are
wasn't
so
even a consequence
accessible.
for them?
It would get to the point that made Sander Cohen in BioShock look sane.
I don't know who that is, but that looks dark.
It led to. It was constantly
no spoilers for BioShock.
satisfying and
No biosex
satiating
spoilers.
these sexual and
Ooh.
sadistic or masochistic fantasies.
Okay,
that
they
only
went super
elevated
deep
and
into
elevated, and this was
debauchery.
species-wide. People started going down darker, more
Ooh.
depraved, and more violent paths as time went on. However, some people didn't entirely take to that. Some of the Eldar were looking at this depraved species that they have become and
less
said,
depraved Eldars.
no thanks for me, dog, I'm good. And they bailed. These are the Craft World Eldar.
Oh,
they left
interesting.
on these giant continent-sized starships
Because it's scratching the surface.
They
I mean, you gotta be
believed in
brief in a
learning
video
the
like
old
this.
ways of the Eldar and pushing away from this depravity and debauchery and going back to their main roots. And so they would segment themselves on these giant
Craft World Eldars are nice.
In the outer
Maybe these are the Eldars that
they
I
even
like.
had this thing called the Webway. Remember what we mentioned about warp travel with the Imperium? Well, the Eldar had something way safer called a Webway. And the Eldar Webway is actually like a pocket
nice in a relative
dimension
sense.
kind of thing. And
Okay,
in that
very
pocket
relative
dimension,
sense.
there were
Nicer.
also more horrible, depraved
Immediately
groups
you're all
and
going
clans
quotation
that would
marks
spend
nice,
their
which is
time in there.
concerning.
And if you imagine the debauchery was bad already, these were debauchery X10. So all of this continued, and it continued, and it bloated until Slaanesh just burst.
Wow, Slaanesh was just like,
emotion,
I'm here
all
now.
that mental thought processes, I suppose.
Might like the regular
all
Eldar,
of
the
this in such a
Eldari.
condensed space. Don't forget, this is all being shot, all their souls as well, into the warp. All of this depravity right into the warp. So what happened? Boom. Slaanesh was birthed and killed off 90% of the entire Eldar population.
Okay, so they don't like them.
Trillions.
They don't like Slaanesh.
Trillions had their souls
assuming.
ripped from their bodies and their actual fleshy bodies devoured by Slaanesh demons. The entirety of the Eldar race was eaten alive and their souls consumed to the Prince of Pleasure.
Yeah, fans
All
though,
of them
yeah.
got
I mean, they kind of did that to themselves.
It was so bad that it literally ripped a warp hole into the fabric of the materium called the Eye of Terror. That's literally this like quasi horrifying gateway portal from the materium and the immaterium right next to Cadia.
Eldar looks down upon humans, seeing them as primitives.
So this Slaanesh, also known as She Who Thirsts by the Eldar, slaughtered the entire population except for a couple.
The hate of fair Slaanesh is always there. Feel too much, the Slaanesh is there.
Not affected by this, as they were so far in the reaches of the galaxy.
Craftway people.
That crazy crack, that birth of Slaanesh, only affected the ones in the center. So these Craft World Eldar were able to escape, but Slaanesh got their sights on them. Every time an Eldar will die, their soul doesn't just pass into the warp naturally. It goes straight to Slaanesh, Craft World or not.
They have like a soul ownership kind of.
Imagine that giant birth happening.
Slaanesh kind of has like a soul ownership over the entire race, is what I'm hearing. Like even if not all the Eldar was responsible for this happening, Slaanesh was kind of like, ooh, yummy Eldars. This is what I was created from. Must eat. Yeah. It's kind of on like an Eldar binge eating habit that was started from birth. The nom noms. There are exceptions, but most of them, yes. That's not a good spot.
Barely get a grasp onto you. Slaanesh was just barely able to hold on. These people are the Dark Eldar,
the Drukhari.
also known as the Drukhari. The Eldar population right now is so massively small. It is minuscule compared to any of the other most of the other populations in the universe. The Eldar are consistently having issues trying to get their population
want the nom-noms? Yeah, those nom-noms
as their souls are constantly being hungered by from Slaanesh, they realize their entire species is doomed. and they understand it very well. Since the time of the fall, our race has been haunted by what we, in our reckless pursuit of hedonistic
so they are admitting they did this to themselves.
Though our dreams once overturned worlds and quenched suns, we are now but fitful shadows clinging to the edge of existence. All the stars
Dark
in the
Eldar
sky
are some of the
cannot
most
blot
wild people
out
in
the
Warhammer
hateful
40k.
glare of the red moon's eye. The birthing place of the great enemy pulses with all the malice of a demon that is dreaming, casting its shadow over all we have ever done and all we ever shall. Every twisted strand of fate and casting of the runes leads me to this time, to this place, and it is clear that the final battle awaits me at the ancient Chrome
Or at least have
World,
self-awareness,
a conflict
yeah.
the likes of which has not been seen since the Monkai warred amongst themselves and their corpse of a seer fell to his traitorous son, is coming, and all my steps lead towards it, no matter that I walk other paths. I see the stars stained red with the blood of the Monkai, and though their wars do not concern me, I would gladly let them destroy one another. I know that to avoid this fight is to condemn my race to inevitable doom, and though all I see is darkness, I know that I will not flinch.
Oh, they call the
from
human
my
Monkai.
destiny.
Oh.
And now let's talk about cute plastic models.
Bro, I'm
Cute
straight up
plastic
not having a
models.
good time.
The first playable race we have for the Eldar
Craft
are
World.
the Craft World Eldar and living in those Craft World starships I mentioned earlier. And each of them have their own kind of Craft World, almost like a Space Marine Legion. Each Craft
Eldar
World
will sacrifice
is
one
in
entire
itself
human planet
its
for
own
one life.
special kind of group. And the Eldar themselves are very fast and rely a lot on trickery. They are squishy, a bit weak, but they're very in tune as psychers. Tons of psychers across the entire Eldar
did I get the spelling right?
and their
Monkai?
weaponry and abilities are fast and extremely hard hitting, but of course rather fragile. Understanding
I don't know if I'm
Eldar's
pronouncing it
brain
correctly. I hope
is
so.
an exercise of futility. They are all over the place in confusion and trickery on
Monkey?
a whole
Oh,
galactic
Monkai.
scale.
Monkai.
They fight weird, they think weirder, and
guess
Eldar
it's
in
monkey.
their own right
Monkey.
really rely on this to keep their species alive. They need to think about deception and the strangeness of what they do if they truly want to not be immediately murdered and slaughtered wholesale thanks to their entirely small population. However, I must say that it seems like their population is getting slightly better. These craft worlds hold millions upon millions of people. And as they continually, reproduce and have their craft worlds expand, losing a few people in battle
Pronouncing it correctly, but not charged with
they're
hatred.
only losing what's extremely precious
I
to
see,
them.
see.
It's not like every single death means the death of their species. It seems like they're kind of on the upturn a little bit. They're still a doomed race being sucked into Slanesh every time someone dies, but they are definitely doing a little bit better than they were before.
They
Eldar
try
are
not to
fast,
immediately be
cunning,
killed.
and what they don't make up for in tankiness, they make up for in extremely advanced weaponry. They also call humans Monkai, which is something I mentioned earlier. That is a derogatory slur for humans in the Warhammer world. Why is it called Monkai?
Monkey?
Well, it's because you can't, in your game, call people monkeys. On the tabletop, exactly what I said. Not very tanky,
yellow and
generally pretty
blue.
squishy, hit like trucks, and move at Mach 5. Fast,
Okay,
hit
speedy,
hard,
speedy.
die fast. Exactly how it sounds. They've been good for a very long time, too. We bring only death and leave only carry on. It is a message even a human can understand.
Come on, color a little bit.
Eldar. So, Drukhari. Let's talk about the Dark Eldar.
Drukhari.
Today's episode of How Fucked Up is Fucked Up.
Whoa.
That's fucked up.
So those people I mentioned in the webway, in the super deranged cults and the depraved people
Okay, so
of the
these
Eldar,
are
in the
crazy
webway, They
Eldars.
didn't quite get a hold onto them. So Slanesh has them, but it has them on by the pinky finger. And they're slowly
So these
being
aren't as
consumed
doomed by
Slanesh,
Slanesh?
but they found out they can stave her off by doing Slanesh things. The Dark Eldar are
that doesn't
by
sound
far
good.
the worst, most horrifying, disgusting, depraved, and brutal race in all of Warhammer 40k. These are entirely a group of people whose full purpose to save their species from extinction, to go into planets, raid them, and take as many slaves as they possibly can, to torture them for 1, 5, 10, 20, a million years. Because that torture will keep them from dying.
No, my favorite,
they look
no.
very
No.
BDSM style, too. They definitely have a lot more spiky bits, and they have a lot more of that kind of leathery black look to them. But let's Example, let's say you are an upstanding Imperial citizen,
Okay.
living life on a regular planet.
Okay.
You get invaded by the Necrons.
Oh, the
Necrons
Necrons.
will shoot you with a deatomizer, and you will be destroyed in a millisecond.
Okay, poof.
And that's it.
You go poof. That's not
the
too
worst way to
bad.
go.
Yeah.
You are invaded by Chaos Marines or something. You take a bolter shot to the head or a chain sword across your stomach, and you get cut in half. Painful, but
yeah,
not the worst.
relative.
The orcs arrive. They beat you to death. Hurts, but, whatever. Tyranids, they eat you alive.
Oh, that seems kind of
Rough.
dark, but
The
hopefully it
Dark
doesn't
Eldar.
last too long.
The Dark Eldar. This is going to get a little graphic. I apologize. You pray
Oh,
you
no,
die.
no.
You don't.
Oh.
You are instead taken as a human slave. Your
Okay.
life will be endless work and agony, 24/7.
Okay.
They will make sure you can't not die, as your pain
they will ensure
satisfies
that.
them. They will hook you up to all manner of torture devices. They will inject pain-based stimuli drugs directly into your nervous system. They will slowly run razor blades across your skin. They will fillet you and pull out your teeth and your fingernails one by one. They will remove your appendages and your skin and wait for it to grow back so they can do it again. They will murder and torture and use the R word. It rhymes with grape. Your entire family in front of you and do the exact same thing to them. You yourself.
No.
Rhymes with grape anywhere and everywhere possible. And this will occur for 20 years
Bring the
until you are
Necrons
no longer
back!
satisfying to them.
Bring
And then
back the
you will be
Necrons,
contorted,
please!
crushed,
Please!
and twisted
Necrons!
into some form of
Necrons!
trophy. A fleshy trophy.
Oh my God!
Or a ring, or a couch, or a
couch!
TV stand, or perhaps a wonderful hat, while you are, of course, still alive and breathing.
No,
and
Necrons.
you will become a moaning,
I have a heavy
fleshy
preference for
trophy
Death by Necrons.
for eternity. And that is what happens when you are taken by the Dark Eldar. They are the most depraved, most horrifying
for sure.
race in all of 40k. They look the part,
I
and
don't
they
listen
do it
anymore. That's
so
why
they
I'm
all
talking
don't
really
die.
loudly, so
They
you
are
don't
literally
have to
forced
hear
do
about
this,
them.
Because if they don't, Slaaneish's grip will get harder, and they will have their souls pulled
Okay, so
away.
they found
So long
this
as they
is this
keep
is
doing
this is their loophole basically is what I'm seeing. Also, party like a Camargue party. That sounds dark. That sounds dark. But yeah, basically this is like their loophole from Slaanesh is what I'm seeing. I don't know how this is their loophole, but it's their loophole. Yeah. It's actually very sad because they're not born evil. Are they not born evil? Are you sure? They love doing it. Keeping them alive is a bonus. I'm getting mixed messages from you, Camels, but yeah, they seem very evil. They have humans for thousands of years that they've kept alive. I guess you get like semi-immortality, but Camargue is the dark city of the Drukhari. Oh, okay, it's a city. You get immortality, but it's the immortality of suffering. They must learn to love it. Oh, okay. Also, I was talking over some of this explanation because it was really graphic. So they have to love it. Oh, okay.
Just like, you're doing good, man. You're doing solid. You keep that shit up, you elf-eared bastards. That's the Dark Eldar. That's the Drukhari.
Okay, so I guess they're
horrible. On
in
tabletop,
their
they're actually kind of like Eldar, but more extreme.
Okay,
they are
more
even
extreme.
Squishier than the Eldar.
The
but
design
they
of their
hit
units are pretty
even
cool,
harder.
though.
Fast attacks, skirmishers, really quick, speedy, like get around them, do a lot of damage, get away kind of stuff. That's most of the Dark Eldar. Look up the definition of grim dark in a dictionary. You'll find a picture of the Dark Eldar. And Sev from Public Commando. A quote from Mr. Vecht. We are the lords of despair.
No doubt, their aesthetic is pretty cool. Yeah, super cool aesthetic.
Our meat and wine, and they are plentiful indeed. Dark Eldar. Let's talk about the Harlequins.
Harlequins? Clowns? There's a clown faction?
The Harlequins are a bizarre race of Eldar. They're demonic clown performers. They're like a weird mix of Sander Cohen from BioShock and Jin from League of Legends.
I know neither of those characters.
They're artists of death and perfecters of their craft. They do not belong to Craft Worlds or any of the weird Drukhari people. They guard something called the Black Library, which is this giant tome of never-ending knowledge deep in the heart of the Eldar Webway, and also guarded by their god named Kegorok, I believe.
Kegorok. Wait.
He is the last
Sheggorath. Okay, sorry. I had to. That is the most similar name to Sheggorath, the chaos god from Skyrim that I've ever heard. Geggorath, the Sheggorath is almost completely identical. And he was kind of like a little like clown-like guy. They're professional jokesters, but they could massacre you and your entire neighbor in minutes. So it's like the Joker from Batman turned up to like 1,000, but also elves. There are other gods apart from the 4 chaos ones. Ah. If a writer quickly needs a bad guy, the audience won't mind being slaughtered, they use Drukhari. Oh. If the Joker was a top-level bard and then the monster tier fighter at the same time. Sheggorath might have been inspired by 40k. Interesting.
Geggorath, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He is the laughing god, but it's the Eldar's laughing god, and these are the
Eldar's laughing god?
The Harlequin clowns. These are Eldar clowns.
Okay.
So imagine the things that an Eldar, these depraved individuals, would find funny. And this is the god of that.
Oh, okay.
It's a horror clown. These are gods of horror. For us normal people, for them, they're like, oh, it's so funny. They're all
clown
dying
god,
horribly.
but it's like an extreme horror movie.
They're very bizarre and difficult to describe. They've escaped the ruinous powers of Slaanesh somehow, but the main thing is guarding that black library, and the Harlequins just...
So they're not targeted by Slaanesh in the same way.
They're barely any models on the tabletop. They're good in melee. They're demon clowns. I'm not sure. I got a quote. It is too easy for an Eldar to embrace the obscene virtues of chaos. For Slaanesh is nothing more than a manifestation of the Eldar mind in its most wild and unconstrained form. Human morality is meaningless to the Eldar. And to the dark side of the Eldar mind, all life is to be expended at a whim. Cruelty and generosity are but the impulse of a moment. Beauty and sensuality are virtues that can be expressed in bloodshed just as easily as in song. To an unfettered Eldar mind, there is neither sanity nor madness, but merely a wave of perfect existence fulfilled by its own savage momentum. They're
savage momentum. Yeah, just a lot of cruelty and death and destruction and stuff.
Very strange. The Harlequins, Drukhari, Eldar, they are an anomaly that make humans seem completely easy to understand in comparison. They range from rekindling their civilization to horrifying murder and also clowns. They're all over the place.
I like that they literally just have a murder clown faction. Okay, it wasn't that I feel like every Eldar factions of the Eldar hasn't been that surprising from like the little trinkets of stuff that I've heard from you guys while playing Space Marine or like doing other Warhammer stuff or like things that I've like stumbled over on the internet. The murder clowns was completely out of left field. And it really does remind me, like when I heard like Geggorath, I'm just like, oh yeah, this is like Sheggorath from Skyrim, just uber evil. Just uber evil. Even the Dark Eldar find the Harlequins creepy. I mean, not surprising. Though the Drukhari are extremely disturbed. Was more horrific than clowns? I actually did not have a fear of clowns. I'm afraid of a lot of things like darkness and heights and bugs and things like that, but I've never had a clown fear, which I'm happy about. Even though I don't know, I think I've seen a circus when I was younger that has clowns, but otherwise I've never seen them like in person. They just sometimes appear in horror stuff. I feel like clowns nowadays appear more often in the horror media than anything else, which is kind of bizarre. That's become kind of like a more of like a horror creature than something you see outside of horror nowadays. You have a fear of clowns and dolls and puppets. I feel like I find like those what do you call them, the ventriloquism puppets, I find those scarier than clowns. Yeah. Harlequins tend to work with humans the most out of all Eldars. I mean, if they have like the protect library kind of motivation, then I'm assuming their motivations aren't necessarily hunting down humans all the time, but I don't know because I don't know in-depth lore. It feels like normal clowns aren't a thing anymore. Yeah, I feel like outside of circuses or maybe occasionally like comedy shows or comedy movies, I never see clowns around. It was kind of like taken over by the horror genre, and now I mostly see it in that context, which I guess this would also count as like a horror context in a sense. Harlequins are the elders, history keepers, but they retell it in an interpretive dance. So no Eldars knows their history. I guess the Harlequins knows the history. They're the most random Eldars. Yeah.
Place, but honestly, they represent quite well.
Much random, much evil.
Especially with the whole Slaanesh murdering everyone bit. So, yeah, Eldar. Now,
yeah, also they're doomed.
Bugs.
Ma, they following me, Ma.
Oh, the Tyranids, yes.
These the bugs.
Okay, so these are the guys that, for me, are the most reminiscent of the Necromorphs in Dead Space. Because the Necromorphs want to consume. And just, like, everything becomes part of the blobs. And that's kind of what I've gathered is their thing.
Now, you want to talk something a lot more fun, a little more simple than all this crazy
also,
Eldar
they're fun to squash in Space Marine 2.
They're bugs. Do they look like Zerg? Hell yeah, they look like Zerg. You want to know why they look like Zerg? Because they were actually supposed to be what Zerg were.
They were supposed to be Zerg.
It was a 40k game in the beginning, hence why they look so much like Eldar.
Oh wait, StarCraft was supposed to be 40k?
Zerg and the Imperium of Man.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Clowns were associated with traveling circuses in the U.S. were usually staffed by ex-convicts, often decent people, but sometimes not. Oh, interesting. You didn't know that? Yeah, I didn't know this either.
Like kind of Space Marine-y, those Marines, huh?
Oh my God, I've never seen. This is isn't this Raynor? God, I've seen at least. There's a guy that looks like this in oh no, not Raynor. This is the other StarCraft guy you can play as in Heroes of the Storm, which is where I know StarCraft from. But this guy, he totally looks like the Space Marines. Tychus, that's it. Tychus. Yes. Tychus looks like an Ultramarine. I've never realized. Oh my God, I'm getting mind blown here. Literally mind blown.
They look a little bit Space Marine.
Yeah, and then Raynor kind of looks like some other factions of Space Marines.
You really fucked up on that one, Games Workshop, didn't you? Tyranids are a giant infestation of unfathomable proportions.
Like the licensing dispute is online now.
Bio-advanced hive mind organisms.
Hive mind, yes,
bugs. Basically all about absorbing as much biomass as they possibly can.
Yeah, literally like the same as the Necromorphs in Dead Space.
To be extremely potent and powerful and kill and eat anything in their path. They are probably the least
more aggressive
evil
looking
faction in all of 40k.
Least
because
evil?
all they want to do is eat shit.
True, I guess.
The entire galaxy.
Yeah, they don't torture and stuff.
Food. Also, this Tyranid hive mind has a presence in the warp. In fact, Tyranids in their own right have a massive presence in the warp. They have a thing called the Shadow in the warp specifically.
The Shadow in the warp?
When they are coming in to invade a planet, they have this weird ability to kind of cut off the warp on all the psychers on that planet. And how do you get help across the stars? Well, you need the warp because you need that for interstellar travel.
Yeah. Like you need the warp for stuff. So I guess they can kind of like psychically isolate whatever they're targeting. It seems like in lore they're unstoppable. Ooh.
So with people unable to call for help from the Tyranids, these are just easy pickings. And an entire giant Tyranid hive fleet comes out of orbit and just will massacre, absorbing all that biomass.
That does seem kind of unstoppable.
All of their other
can't even communicate.
Into even more advanced monsters. They come in so many varieties too, all based on.
In Darktide Symphony, talk about a shadow above the planet you play on, implying they're coming. Ooh, dark. Blocking the warp blocks travel and communication. Oh. Tyranids are biological alive and necromorphs are dead. I mean, other than the alive dead aspects, these function similarly to the Dead Space necromorphs, which makes it easier for me to understand how they work because I've played Dead Space.
On what is important. Tiny little ripper swarms.
And seems very instinctually driven.
Little dudes eat people up. to the Hormagaunts, Termagants, and Gene Stealers, all the way to the Hive Guard and the Execrans and the Swarm Lord, to Hive Tyrants and their giant battle fleets, and even something as crazy as the Hierophant Bio-Titan. The Tyranids come in all forms and sizes depending on what they require. They are extremely good at anti-biological weaponry. There is no way you can plague them or blight them. They have extremely strong armor, carapaces and such. Tyranids are nigh perfect organisms and are pretty...
I will say they're kind of like bug, almost like fleshy war designs of their aesthetic is pretty cool looking. It is a pretty cool aesthetic. It is just not for me. If I was going to play and like make my own like physical Warhammer army, I would not play Tyranids, but they do have a cool, like, it's cool fighting against them. I feel like it's very satisfying fighting against them because it feels like you're fighting a significant force. It feels like you feel accomplished when you defeat them. It's not like oh, I squished a little bug guy. It feels like you're doing something significant.
Spooky.
Did you kind of dull affection to play as? I mean, I guess that's depending on
keep feeding
preferred
them,
play
keep
style.
Evolving. They keep on creating new horrifying organisms to spread across the galaxy. And you know what the most terrifying part of the Tyranids is? We might be surrounded. There have been like around 6 or 7 Tyranid hive fleets. Behemoth, Kronos, all these different kinds of hive fleets. And they've all arrived in the galaxy from different points. Different sections of the Milky Way galaxy have had different Tyranids come through.
That's disturbing.
And that is horrifying. Because as far as we know, we could just be surrounded on all sides.
Oh, wonderful,
by The only reason
how many hive fleets?
A lot about Tyranids is because it's a little bit hard to have a bunch of story off of one hive mind genocidal monsters.
Yeah.
All these giant
no
bugs
idea how many are actually out there.
Killing and eating everybody.
Yeah, and I guess if they're all instinctual driven, like all like less talking, more eating. Do they even talk? Like, are there Tyranids that talk? Because if they're not doing an evil monologue, like other factions that are fighting each other might do, then how are you going to get a scale, like sense of scale for your enemy? Okay, they don't talk, yeah. Then you're not going to get evil how do you say that word? Exposition. Yeah, you're not going to get evil exposition dialogue. So how would you know? A sub-faction does talk, but they're not Tyranids directly. The Gene Stealers are the closest you get to talking to Tyranids. The Gene Stealers tell you that the Star Children are coming. Oh, okay. Their hive mind where the stronger units are like nodes that control the smaller ones. Yeah. It's weird? Okay, it's weird. They don't speak, but they can communicate. But like you're not getting long-winded, evil monologues before battle or stuff. Like you're not going to get exposition, I'm guessing, in the sense that other evil things would plan says, so you're kind of in the unknown. Yeah. Hive fleets break up and rejoin all the time, so it's hard to tell how many fleets there are. It's all human classification based on the differences of appearances and tactics. Oh. And ultimately, an ultramarine library was able to communicate with the hive mind. Interesting. But yeah, they're not going to be stopping and chatting with you. Yeah, you can just get like you can make guesstimates maybe, but
I mean, as cool as there are some cool characters, the Swarm Lord, Old One-Eye, you can't really have a whole bunch of major character-based stories around them.
Yeah.
As awesome as they are, they're simple. They want to
I'm assuming they don't make for like
absorb your biomass. They are simple bugs. If you want
they
something
don't
a little more
make
complex,
for like the most intriguing storytelling.
I can have all the pot I want, I get around faster than walking, and wherever I need a seat, I can just sit on my balls.
Gene Stealer cults are a special brand of Tyranid that can slowly infect themselves into different kinds of society. And by infecting them, they can rise up to where they all pray and believe in these regular humans.
Stories? Oh,
pray and believe into their Tyranid hive mind gods. And these brood lords and I think they're called patriarchs all can turn an entire world.
Yeah, like a
all
thing.
based into gene stealers. And these are called gene stealer cults. An entire hive world of the Imperium can be turned into nothing but servants to the Tyranid masters.
Oh, because they kind of take over.
And screwing with their genetic
parasites, kind of.
They also have this cool like Mad Max look, which is really neat. They are definitely one of the bigger threats to the
kind
Imperium.
Of the thing, but they're closer to
chaos.
doppelgangers, alien facehuggers, yeah.
Imperium. They're up there though, because you, dingus, stepped on a bug in middle school. Asshole.
Wow.
There is a cancer eating at the Imperium. With each decade, it advances deeper, leaving drained, dead worlds in its wake. This horror, this abomination,
the power of a single gene stealer landing on the planet
functions on an unimaginable galactic scale. And all we can do is to try to stop the swarms of bioengineered monsters it unleashes upon us by instinct. We have given the horror a name to salvage our fears. We call it the
Tyranid so the Tyranids aren't even calling themselves the Tyranids. It's the humans calling them that.
Nothing but prey. Tyranids. They're cool.
But like the Omnomnoms.
Every screen's gone red.
Oh, these are the red guys.
Super fast.
The guys that like red.
Orcs. I fucking love orcs. So, yes, the green monsters, the green tide, the green skins. These orcs, they are in fact a race.
Did you mention the Shadow and the Warp? Yes.
The orcs are as exactly what you expect them. They have archaic weapons, they're big boys, they have axes, and they have got big old teeth, and they want to kill everything, and there are so many of them. The only
there's a lot
reason
of
they
them?
haven't taken over the entire galaxy is they can't stop murdering each other.
Oh,
orcs are so
okay.
cool. Orcs don't have philosophy. Orcs don't have existential crisis.
They're just having fun. Yeah, I guess
the biggest orc. You listen to that guy because he the biggest orc. He big orc. Big orc knows best. You win the power of imagination.
They reproduce through spores?
The galaxy, the orc is the hardest to comprehend. They wage war with machines that should not work, care little for strategic gains, and are just as likely to slaughter each other as the enemy.
Just the big battle go boom?
Defies all logic.
Is that what?
As an orc, you're enjoying life.
Are they just like big things go boom, let's make things go boom, everything fight, listen to big guy? Once an orc is on a planet, that planet is infected forever. Infected forever with orcs? Oh, so they're fungi. Fighting is fun? Oh, okay. Yes to basically everything I just said.
Enjoying the life you're given. Your whole life and job and purpose is to get up and beat
literal
each other to death as you can.
And fun
the
guys that like fighting.
Is the man who understands everything. He is the boss. And orcs have this really weird, like, big,
their currency's
dumb,
teeth.
Stereotype British accent, which is just hilarious to me. Those are orcs. You fight. You like to fight. Your whole purpose is to fight. You wage war because you want to wage war.
Mushrooms
you got your
then,
boss
technically.
over there, and you better listen to the boss, because if you don't listen to
They're
the boss,
fighting mushrooms.
the boss will squish you.
Happiest race in Warhammer 40k.
And then you can't fight because orc dead.
Yeah,
and
I guess they just like fighting.
Because the orc dead. Orcs.
Yeah.
They scrap together machines out of parts that don't make any sense, and because they believe, they have the mental imagination that machine will run, it'll run. If that
Truly the only
machine's out
faction
of
that's
gas,
striving,
you're
yeah,
driving
it seems
machine
that
with a
way.
fellow orcs, and the biggest orc is behind the wheel, and you run out of gas, some orc behind you like, oh, Zog, we're out of gas. And the big orc is like, no, we're not. I filled the fucking gas tank up earlier. And all the other orcs are like, oh yeah, you did do that. And then you turn the fucking mech back on and it works again.
Wow.
Does it have gas? Probably not. But it works. The power of imagination. They paint things red because it makes them think that goes faster. They paint things purple because it's the sneakiest color. You want to know why? You ever seen a purple orc? Didn't fucking think so. Orcs are also like ancient.
I guess they have the power to make things invisible.
Time frame. But back then they were called Krorks, and they were much larger and scarier and far more intelligent. Now they're just orcs. And they're dumb and they smack things. But
so they got dumber.
Spooky. They're not very well armored, but they hit really hard. And it's called the Green Tide because there are so many orcs. There are about as many orcs as there are Tyranids. Maybe
they're basically a super weapon that evolved into the most dangerous thing in the galaxy.
Orcs are entirely comic relief. Their stuff is slapped together. That makes no sense. Their vehicles
I like their
don't
power of
work
belief
the way they're
vehicles,
supposed to.
though.
They work because they think it works, because they imagine that it works.
Also, they
Orcs
like humans
care
because
only
they
about
send
who is the
people
biggest
to fight
orc, and they will follow the biggest orc. And if they want to be the biggest orc, they'll challenge the biggest orc. And then when they go and they
were strong enough to win a Primarch and win.
Is just war in orc. They murder everybody and everything in this giant tide of green orcs who are just excited to be hitting something. They don't care that they're hitting Eldar or the Imperium or Tau or anyone in between. They're just so they get to beat shit up.
I like these orcs in the background, just all fighting.
On the tabletop, they are a total coin flip, and they're really fun. I have never met a salty orc player. I have never met someone who plays orcs and is ever just a bad guy.
Orc players are just also having to have fun, I guess.
Orc players have
fun
this
guys
kind of
playing fun guys
to them, because when you play them, you are completely submitting yourself to RNG. So here's the thing. Guardsmen, Imperial Guardsmen,
RNG
when
the
they
faction.
shoot, they roll a dice, and on a 4-up, they'll hit their target. They have a 50% chance.
Okay.
Space Marines, pretty good. They hit on a 3 or higher because they're well trained. Adeptus Custodians, they hit on 2s because they're super well trained.
Super strong.
Orcs, they hit on a 5 or higher. But if they roll a 6, they get to make another shot with anything. From the
you must bring a bucket of dice if you play orcs.
Rocket launcher.
Easy,
it doesn't matter. Half of their stuff will blow up on a whim. One of their medics, if you roll a 1 to kill someone, you fuck up your surgery and you just kill an orc. They're so wacky and silly.
Wow.
But the thing is if you roll well, you roll high, and you keep rolling high, you are going to crush.
Wait, does that mean you could like roll a 6 and then roll a 6 and then roll, because if you get a 6 you get a new dice? Like, does that tie up, like if you roll 10 6s in a row, you just keep on rolling until you're rolling something that isn't 6? Yes? Oh my god, that's insane. What if you, but people can learn like skill throws, right? Can people that, if someone that like knows how to like skill throw a die, I think it's really, really hard, but I swear I've seen people who like can do that if you, like, it's like super high, but could you do that and then like do that infinitely with 6s? If so, that would be insane. Can't skill throw 80 dice? I guess that's true, but some people are insane. Oh, you're not throwing 1 die at a time. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes it harder. It would be really hard with those dice. Okay, if it was a normal like D6, like a normal 6 dice. No, I don't mean weighted dice. I think there's people that can actually like, if you just throw 1 die at a time. Okay, you throw 1 dice for each mini. Oh, okay. So if you're moving like 10 guys, you throw 10 dice at a time. Okay, then it wouldn't work. But if you throw like 1 at a time, you could, but then no one would play against you. I guess at that point, people are bringing out an app and be like, press the die on the app on the phone. This is the die you get to use. If someone comes in and like actually knows how to skill throw a die, it's like, you get the digital RNG now. I want to see you skill throw this digital die. If you have 30 boys that shoot twice, you roll a bag of 60 dice at once. Oh, okay. But a bucket of dice is more fun. Okay, back to the video. Rules have changed a lot, but orcs are still fun to play with or against on the tabletop.
People. And if you don't, you lose. I mean, that's what you get when you play orcs. That's what happens when you
go
play
big or go
it's
home.
A coin flip, which is why you can't be a salty bitch when you play orcs, because things won't go your way. It's just the roll of the dice. You're playing a dice game. But if you're gonna have fun, and you want to be stupid, and you want to be silly, you're gonna play some damn orcs. But on the opposite side of the fun part of this, let's talk about the Necrons.
Necrons, okay. I want to learn. Please be fun, Necrons.
The Necrons are spooky, scary skeletons and very grim,
such
dark.
A cool aesthetic.
They have a much more fleshed out lore than before. Back in the day, they were just undead Egyptian space terminators, and they still look that way, but now they actually have a story. So way back in the day, you had the Necron
Egyptian mythology.
Tier. Kind of see a theme here: Eldari, Eldar,
Necron tier.
Orc, Necron tier. So Necron tier were this race of generally kind of shitty people. Not because they were personally shitty, because their lives were awful. They were ill-fated to a horrible existence of like radiation and a terrible planet they lived
radiation
on. And
would explain the
really
greed.
Being a Necron tier was just really depressing. They really were looking for immortality.
This is why I love the Necrons, okay? Look at this. Look at the the artwork and the aesthetic of them just goes so hard. They had gigaplanetary scale allergies. You know, I feel that with my everything allergies, you know. That's not Necron, so is this the Necron tears? I don't know.
They were extremely reliant
Just
on
their aesthetic is really
they
cool.
would eventually find the key to living forever and to stave off this horrible nature that they were thrust upon them, and therefore they could become the most
life
dominant race in the galaxy.
expectancies were in the 20s.
And they found this group. They're called the Old Ones. Imagine them kind of like Forerunners in Halo or the Xel'Naga in StarCraft, right?
Okay.
These Old Ones were these strong, pretty much omnipotent beings, and they of course knew the key to immortality. So the Necrons went to them and said, please show us your ways.
Okay.
And the Old Ones said, piss off. Not really. They were a lot more humble about it. They did not want to share their secret of immortality
understandable.
with the Necrons. The Necrons of course took this very
Monsters of material reality.
and waged war with them, kind of under this united banner. The Necron different dynasties didn't really like each other, but under this one man, the Silent King, he thought the best way to unite his race was to do this giant war with the Old Ones out of spite for them keeping the secret of immortality.
The spite war. I'm liking this already. Doing things out of spite is fun. Yes, I'm not going to lie, Camus. Usually that means that I in video games will do things out of spite when the game tells me to do another thing. But I'm liking the attitude here. The Old Ones didn't do it because they didn't want to interfere with the Necron Tear's existence, but they took that personally.
Immortality to them. This was known as the War in Heaven. And
War
this
in
is actually
Heaven.
a multi-stage war. Because during this War in Heaven, they discovered the Star Gods. A whole new race of people known as the Catan, or the Catan. These Star Gods were also very much like Old Ones, almost omnipotent beings. And they too had the key to immortality. And so the Necrons went to them and said, hey, can you help us fight off the Old Ones? Can you help us kill these Old Ones, you, the Catan? And the Catan said yes. And in fact,
the reason the 4K galaxy is smaller than ours is this war.
We can help provide you with the immortality you so desperately seek. So the Silent King of the Necrons decided to make a pact with the Catan to allow them to accept this generous gift of immortality upon them.
I feel like that's going to be
this, of course,
double-edged sword.
had been a horrendous trap.
Yeah.
And the Necrons were dragged in chains to this biotransference where their flesh was stripped from them, replaced with nothing
why they're
but
skeletons.
a metal hollow shell as their souls were ripped from their body and fed to the Catan.
Yeah,
and
checks
the
out.
Catan
Checks out.
fattened up. They got chonk on
Chonk.
the souls of the Necrons.
What
As
a
this was their
chonker,
plan all along, they consumed the flesh and souls of the Necron tier and turned them all into unwilling robotic slaves just to serve their will. And then with their new-founded Necron army, they pointed their guns at the Old Ones, and the Catan continued their domination of the stars and their genocide.
Yeah, I did not read the fine
and
print.
full genocide of these Old Ones. The Old Ones did their best to stave it off.
Because
They
the
even
Old Ones
created
were
other
killed.
races, the Eldari and the Orcs, to try to fight off the horrifying
Created by the
Necron
Old Ones,
army
interesting.
and the Catan above them. But there was absolutely no possible chance for them. And
Catans
the
are
Old
purely
Ones
of the
were
physical realm.
absolutely extinguished across the galaxy.
So far,
Their
half of 40k
entire
lore is about
race
eating something.
completely
True.
removed. Full-on 100% genocide. However, during all this, the Catan, so just infatuated with their victory, started fighting each other for fun, for sport, and for small differences. Doesn't matter. The Catan, with these overpowered people, they're going to eventually hit each other at some point. And as they began just menially fighting each other, the Eldari and the Orcs actually started pushing on the Catan's border.
The fan theory is that the Old Ones are still alive and hanging out with the Dark Angel Space Marines. Fan theory. I see.
Borders a little bit, giving them a little bit of a run for their money. And as this continued, this is when the Silent King, who retained his consciousness, decided to leap into action and start a full-scale revolt against the Catan masters. And this revolt was bloody, as the entire Necron army was surged off to destroy
I mean, not literally bloody for the Necrons, right? It doesn't look like they have much blood left. Sorry. I had to say it. Okay. I don't think it doesn't look like the Necrons are shedding any blood anymore. You know, on the the basis of all their skin being gone now, and they're all metallic. Oily or metallic-y, like some metal shavings. I mean, I'm not wrong. Maybe some green sludge or whatever this green stuff is.
Destroy these star gods. They were able to, just after suffering horrendous losses, were able to turn the tide of the war.
Oh, they did it.
They took these Catan and they blasted them. Because as these star gods are unkillable, they were able to break them into thousands of shards and entrap them in giant stasis vaults to now actually be slaves to the Necrons.
Oh, because they turn it on its head.
The entirety of their old gods enslaved to them, they realized that soon their race was about to be attacked by the overcoming new races, the Eldari and the Orcs. And so what they did is they retreated into giant stasis tombs in order to preserve their energy and their strength.
Oh, they stasis themselves?
They would be reawakened and they would be able to rule the galaxy.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
Rightfully theirs. And then
that's pretty big brain tactics. I'm kind of liking the Necrons a lot. Like, are they evil? Sure, yes, very evil. But point me to a non-evil faction now at Warhammer 40k. These guys seems pretty big brain. And also, basically in lore, only a tiny part of Necron population is awake. Oh, the Tau. Okay, we're getting to the Tau lost. But yeah. There's a super strong Necron called the Trazyn the Infinite. The dude has Pokeballs with warriors for every race. Even Custodes, he throws them out when people are annoying him while scheming. Interesting. Tau are only good by comparison. Necrons just want their old empire back. That's not evil, it's just their right. I mean, it depends on who you're asking, probably. Mechanicus 2 is coming out soon. They will allow you to play as Necrons. Ooh. Interesting. In the old lore, this happened shortly after Necrontyr were transformed, followed by the use of Citan shards as super weapons in the War of Heaven. Ooh.
Some dingus Adeptus Mechanicus guy diddled with a green console, and now the Necrons are back, and they see all these Adeptus Mechanicus and they think, get the fuck off of it. The Necrons are back, super advanced, and they're super angry. The galaxy they so rightfully believe is theirs. Now, at tabletop, they're a lot like that. Tons of undead Egyptian skeleton robots that when they die, they just get right back up because they keep on reanimating. Hard to kill, tons of crazy stuff. You can use the Catan themselves.
Whoa, okay, so that is the Catans. The Catan are the guys that are trapped in these like contraption thingies. Necrons like to make temporary alliances with Blood Angels, Space Marines. They kind of like each other. The Blood Angels were one of the non-chaos ones, right? Necrons are all like, get off my lawn, kids. Yeah. Shards of Catans. Oh, okay. Those are the old models. Look even better now. Ooh. Okay, so they're pieces of a Catan, not a complete one. Okay. Okay, because the Blood Angels are good, are the not quote unquote good, but like non-chaos.
As units to fight with, it's pretty cool. The Necrons are one of the three major events in 40k. The Horus Heresy, the Fall of the Eldar, and the Awakening of the Necrons. The Awakening of the Necrons. Substantial events. And the Necrons hate chaos. Are pretty dang cool as well. Here's a good quote from a wonderful Dawn of War game. Lucky creatures, as long last you have found the tranquility of death. I was like you once, clinging to life and blind to the truth. When I uncovered the truth, I too shuddered and paled with fear. Deep in these catacombs, I was remade.
Loyalist
Here,
is the word I'm looking for.
For eons, Loyalist to the Emperor. Grew like weed. My Lord knew this day would come. He had plans for us all. We would purge this world once more. So come, poor victims of life. We will grant you tranquility in these crypts, Kronos will be a Tomb World once more.
Okay, so they want to
Necrons
reclaim,
are also
remake
pretty
Tomb
smart.
Worlds.
Trays in the Infinite especially, little dickhead. But speaking of dickheads, last race. Let's talk the Tau.
The Tau. Okay, this is the orange guys.
The Tau Empire is not entirely understood. However, a long time ago, many thousands of years ago, in the 40k world that is, some Imperial navigation vessels were going around through different areas, and they saw a primitive race, blue people, smack each other with sticks and stones. They thought, nah, dumb Xenos race, who gives a shit, and they bailed. Then this giant warp storm occurred right in that major area, unable to be breached. Then, once that warp storm 6,000 years later subsided, hello, those little sticks. Well, they decided to actually have no war of any kind and all just unite together under one flag.
A peaceful
of the Tau
race,
Empire.
kind of.
And now they have gigantic starships and Gundam robots and lasers and railguns.
So they weren't warring with each other, actually, like
ruin your day
like
for the greater good. That is generally the Tau Empire. They have this kind of feeling of this homogenous group. All species can go underneath the banner of the
full
greater
Gundam.
good. The greater good is their idea of
peaceful
the
is kind of relative, but
and help of all. In fact, they are most likely the most like the Covenant in Halo, where they.
Oh, it's like a Halo. I actually don't know anything Halo similar, but I guess that's the closest equivalent then. Not all of Catan were defeated and broken into shards. 3 escaped. 1 is imprisoned by the Emperor on Mars to advance the Mechanicus' technology, which is why they're obsessed with the Necrons. Oh, okay, so some Catans aren't broken up. Interesting. Always go full Gundam? I mean, if you can go full Gundam, why wouldn't you? They're not like the Covenant, not really. That's a really good comparison. The duality of camels. But doesn't really tell me much because I am blind on all Halo lore. And if I want to play it in the future, we can play it together. So no spoilers on that. They do try diplomacy first and put a lot of effort into it. Oh, that's kind of cute.
They have the overarching prophets, being the ethereals, who are actually kind of dicks and like to pull at strings a little bit. But then you have all these different races directly underneath them, and they all work together in this big group.
They kind of work together, but their leaders are kind of
race that tries to spread their weirdly pseudo-religious influence across the galaxy. The alien is not intrinsically evil. Do not hate him. Pity him, his ignorance. Seek to understand his differences and equate him with his inadequacies. Only then will he accept his place in the greater.
Okay, so doesn't sound like a good guy kind of thing, but they're like, okay, everyone else is stupid and they should join us. Is kind of what I'm getting from this quote. From what you've seen of Tau lore, the greater good is kind of biggest bits of hypocrisy in the galaxy. Yeah, it seems like they want to be like, okay, everyone else, they should join us. They're stupid. We're going to try and make them see our way. But if they don't want to join us, I'm getting they do mind control stuff. If they don't want to join us, I'm guessing they're going to bring out the weapons, kind of deal. Good.
That is generally the Tau.
Hence the
And if you're kind of wondering like what their mainly big shtick is, well, they're all about big robots and mechs. They have
mechs.
Laser rifles and rail guns. They got giant mechs with tons of missile pods and heavy rail rifles and rail guns.
But the 40k standard are nicer.
And void shields and all this stuff. And that is generally what the Tau's all about. But you're probably thinking, Bricky, this doesn't sound that evil. This doesn't sound very grim, dark Warhammer.
Yeah.
And you'd be right. The Tau Empire really don't have that much of a horrifying, grim, dark style like everybody else.
Tau citizens have actual rights? Wow.
New age
citizen
In
rights.
fact, they're probably a lot less evil and a lot even better than they are now.
Value a lot of fruit and dwarves.
Because they liked having like that good guy faction. But a lot of us who really like the dark, depressing style of Warhammer didn't really like it that much. So, see, the Tau get a lot of hate. And a lot of that hate isn't necessarily unjustified. It's mainly from a tabletop perspective. But as you can see from all the visuals I've shown you recently, they don't really fit in the 40k universe very well. They lack that super dark, dramatic, kind of high gothic level the Imperium has. They don't have the weird kind of like grungy stuff that Chaos or
They have more like a clean sci-fi style.
And the Necrons and the Eldar have their own specific style as well. The Tau really do look like something out of Gundam. And while it isn't necessarily a bad thing, it does definitely not fit too well. There's that. There's also the tabletop problem.
Tabletop
Tau are horrible at melee combat, but exceptionally good
shooting.
at ranged combat. So they blast everyone from really, really far away, and they have a million rules to make it so that it's nearly impossible for you to get into melee combat. So it basically just forces you to bottleneck the game into one specific gameplay style, which is gun to gun. And
okay, I can see people disliking that from a tabletop
because of the Tau, and the Tau are really damn good at shooting. So it's one of those things that make the Tau generally rather hated, and a lot of different reasons for that, both from style and such. But this is actually one of the things I wanted to end this video with, is that the Tau, while they have their issues, you should not be discouraged from playing them. I'll make plenty of Tau weeaboo jokes, of course I will, but it's all generally in good fun. Anyone who legitimately doesn't want you to play a faction is an idiot, and you shouldn't be giving them the time of day. You pick what you think is cool and what you like. In Warhammer, especially now, factions get better and they get worse. They grow and then they fall. You should only be playing what you think is cool. You like the look, you like the models.
Yeah.
If you're talking tabletop, that is what you should be going for every time, is what you think is
what you like the play style and look of.
But the universe of Warhammer has so much going for it. Every faction has something interesting. Every character has a story, and there's a million stories to be told. The universe is vast and exciting, and while it is dark, depressing, and horrible, that
so
is
dark and
the
depressing.
And out of everything I've told you,
you now have more melee options as Tau.
You can take away is the reason why so many of us are so into this series and why we like it so much. Because with so much variety, such an expansive universe,
Tau
so
playstyle has also gotten better since this video got made.
You can find yourself having a pretty great time. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it has been informative to you. If you'd like to see more of me,
I know
Bricky,
so much more now.
Twitch.tv/Bricky for my streams. You have my merchandise.
Yes, this is Bricky.
I was wearing all of my.
Who you can also find on YouTube, which is where I'm watching right now.
I had to wear this so it wasn't black or white for the green screen, which is a little unfortunate, but it's fine. If you'd like to see merch, it is in the description.
Like,
also,
I would have worn merch, but green screen.
For more videos like this, then that would also be wonderful. So Twitch,
did you touch the squads?
merch,
No.
Patreon, anything. If you want to support, that would be fantastic. I'd appreciate it. If not, I'm just stoked you got all the way to the end of the video, and that is
I would say at the very least.
So
if you enjoyed watching this with me, go and click on the videos and give it a like.
Sticking around this long
and stuff.
Being with me through this pretty rough time. That's I think all I got. Also, before I go, let me leave you with my favorite Warhammer quote: "He who scoffs at the power of the lasgun, never ran through a field of 1,000 of them."
Oh yes, because he likes the little guy armies. I will say, in the last video where he said he wasn't going to show legs, I talked about the fact that he had the camera angled so you saw his legs. In part 2 he fixed that. He's not showing legs anymore. As you can see, now it's a proper like waist off, like I don't know, hip up cut off. So he's not showing legs. First video he was totally showing legs though. We're going all in on the technicalities here. I gotta say, after watching, why was I complaining about that? This is important. As a detective, I pay attention to the details. This is also kind of why I say I like the Necrons even more now, because they're doing things out of spite. If someone says they're not going to do anything, that immediately draws your attention to the fact, are they doing the thing? This technically is showing a tiny bit of leg hair. I'd like to point that out. We see the pants. But no, that doesn't matter too much. It's just like, you know, attention to detail matters. And I think after watching this, I would say before watching this, the Necrons was my favorite. After watching this, the Necrons are still my favorite. But I also like some other factions now. I think the Taus are pretty cool. And I think out of the Space Marines, I like the gold guys. Oh my god. Whose names are escaping me. What are the stealth ravens? And the Viking dudes. The 100 Suns I also kind of like. They're my favorite Chaos Marine. Custodes, yes, the Custodes are pretty cool. And I like the Dark Eldar. No, not the Eldar! No! No Eldars! No Eldars allowed there. Except, I guess, the Clown Eldars were kind of like interesting in a lore sense of things. But yeah, no. The Sisters of Battle are kind of cool, but they were also really dark with the fire. The Raven Guards, yeah, the Raven Guards and the Space Wolves, I think, are my favorite, like, regular Space Marine, like, factions. Yeah. You weren't here. Why are the Eldars bad? Go to this entire section of the videos and then watch that. Yeah, then watch that. I'm not going to repeat why. But yeah, I think I like the Necrons the most. Necrons are super cool. And then the Space Wolves and the Dark Ravens. Yeah, and then the Assassin Space Marine like subgroup are pretty cool. The snipers specifically, not the other. Not the others, the snipers. Bricky has a video explaining all the Primarchs too. Oh, I want to watch that. But, Camels, we're not going to watch more today. Like, today I watched a lot. I think we've been watching this for 3 hours? For 3 hours. It's all about the beaky helmets. The bird motif is super cool. And my favorite Chaos God by far. Camels, my favorite Chaos God by far. Let me see if I can find one in all of these in. Let's just show all of them at once. Is there a slide that shows all of them at once here? I was gonna do this. This is like the champions, you guys are saying? My favorite Chaos God by far is Tzeentch. Because of the bird motif. 1, he likes birds. 2, it's chaos. It's gonna be good chaos, maybe not, but at least it's chaos. And then the Corn, second favorite. And then, like, a big step down, and then Nurgle. And then a huge step down, and then Slaanesh. Slaanesh? Yeah. He's the most hated by the fandom, but his aesthetic is so cool! Like, look... Oh god, where is it? Where's the bird? Where's the bird statue? Bird statue is somewhere here. Where is the bird statue they showed? I swear the bird statue were I don't know where it is. It's... somewhere... Oh, I think it was after the 1,000 Suns.
Psyker and kind of Egyptian thing.
I think it was somewhere around here. Oh my god, where was it? I don't know, that wasn't the bird statue, but it was like one of the bird statues. Also, the 1,000 Suns is my favorite designs out of the Chaos guys, and they followed Sinch, so... Yeah! You found Slaanesh the most interesting when you dive a little deeper? It probably has interesting stuff, but... The burbs are cool, Camels. Yeah. Did you drag the timeline up? Dragging it sideways lets you scroll through smaller sections. Yeah, I usually don't... I know there's like fancier things you could use to like skip through menus. I think you could like just use the pause button or something to like stop and start. Camels, I have grown up like being outside when I was younger. I'm 31. I wasn't on the internet that much when I was young. I kind of like watched YouTube like a little bit when I was in, I guess, high school and stuff like that. But I used these are the controls I use on YouTube, Camels. I click the play button. Very rarely do I use like a space bar to play. I usually just use these controls and I click all the time. I just click on the timeline. I'm very basic when it comes to the controls here. Like, yeah, this is my embarrassing confession that this is what I do when I watch videos off stream. So I only really know the casual controls. I don't know all these like hip youngster controls of pressing space and like, I don't know, arrow keys to skip back and forth. So I just go like beep boop and I hope things work. Yeah. I can also press the arrows and go 5 seconds forwards or back. Yeah, that's too complicated for me. I'm just like, no, I'll just press the timeline and hope I land on the right spot. That's what I do when I'm on the internet. I just use the arrow keys. Chaos is the worst faction in lore. There's Far Gone as Drakari, just in different ways. I'm sure it's really bad. Like, from what they were saying, like what he was saying about like the chaos stuff, that could probably get like really bad. But just from like the overview video here, Tzeentch is my favorite. Could this change in the future? Probably. Maybe. But I really like the aesthetic of it. The blue colors, the blue colors as a main with like the purplies, the reds, the gold, like the Thousand Suns motif. It's really cool. Yeah. And yeah, there's probably a large specter of chaos. Like even if you like some part of chaos, you probably don't like all of it. So I just really like that part of the aesthetic. And I like the bird motifs as well. Yeah. They're the only chaos gods that actually screws with you for worshipping them. Yeah, I mean, that's chaos inherently. And I kind of like that about it. Because I feel like there's always going to be repercussions for joining a chaos faction. Because chaos is inherently chaotic. But my second favorite is Korn, because it seems pretty straightforward. 30k 1,000 souls have beak helmets. I don't know. I kind of like their current helmets here. They look kind of pretty. But yeah, the Necrons are my favorite overall. Like by far, out of the lore that I learned today, I really like the Necron lore, and I like that they're just like, get out of my lawn. They're just chasing for immortality. Got betrayed. Overturned the betrayal. Like, are they evil? Sure, but Necrons, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, there are downsides to joining evil gods of chaos and destruction. Yeah, it's like, who would have thought? Since it's unpredictable, there's a tiny chance something good will happen. For the rest, it's just guaranteed bad. Yeah, that's also a true way to look at it. Yeah. But in the future combos, I do want to dive more into. I want to watch the re-explain. I think actually, yeah, that's like the next thing like YouTube is recommending me, is like every single Warhammer 40k faction re-explained. I want to watch that. If there's lore that goes more into the Primarchs, I want to watch it. And I actually would like to. I don't know if there is, but if Bricky has like a deep dive into the Necrons, I would love to watch that, because I'm really liking the Necron lore. So, that was it for this video. This has been Kanna, your local happy peppy duck detective. Always ready to solve a case, open some cards, play games, or make you relax with some ASMR. If you like this video and you want to see more, you can subscribe. Only if you really want to, of course. Or you can check out my other channel if you want to catch me live. See you next time.